Well, when I met Bill, I was babysitting for his sister, and he was visiting her, and we met, and he said, he told my sister, he said, I wanted to marry her right away. He said, as soon as I saw her, I wanted to marry her. But he had to wait for a year or more before that happened. And that's when I met him in 1941, and we got married in 1940. After, when he left to go back from his leave, I didn't see him anymore till 1945. I stayed at home, with my mother and my sister, and I was working. I had a job with the Spillers in Glasgow, and they were a company that made dog food and dog biscuits and that sort of thing. So I worked there with the day of war. He wrote lots and lots of letters, and I wasn't a very good letter writer, but he was, and I used to hear from him all the time, wherever he was. He wrote lots of letters. And Newfoundlanders didn't get leave. Everybody else was getting leave, but the Newfoundlanders weren't. So according to my husband, he wrote to Sir Anthony Eden and told them that all the rest, even the Africans and, from everywhere were getting leave except the Newfoundlanders. And so he wrote Anthony Eden and told them about it, and eventually they did get leave, some of them. And he came on leave one time, and when I got off work about 5 o'clock, and I got off work with my friend, and we came out and we were going down the road, and all of a sudden I heard this voice behind me, and I looked around, and here this was my husband, and he was dressed in a kilt. And of course I hadn't recognized him, and I had just come out and gone on. But it was funny. He borrowed a kilt from somebody who was dressed in this kilt. Gone with the Wind was a very popular movie in those days. That's when it came out, Gone with the Wind. And he wanted to see Gone with the Wind very badly. So we went to the theatre, and there was a lineup, long lineup for the movie to see it. So I said, well, we'll go home now. No, he said, we're not going home. So he walked right up to the front of the queue. He was in his uniform, his army uniform, and he walked right up to the front of the queue. And I don't know what he said to the person, but we got into the movie right away. We didn't have to wait. While he was in North Africa, his family, his parents, sent him a packet of smoked capelin. And inside, it was in some kind of box, and the smoked capelin was there, and inside that there was a small flask of whiskey. So he got the parcel, and of course he took out the whiskey, and that was for him. And he wrapped up the parcel again, and he sent it to me in Scotland. Smoked capelin. And of course, when the mailman came and my father took in the parcel, he just held it in his hand, and then he went out and threw it in the garbage. Because, we'd never heard of smoked capelin. The smell was something terrible. So that was the end of the Gatewood. When we came over on the boat, our boat was supposed to land in Halifax, and my husband was going to be there to meet us. But halfway across, there was Halifax had an explosion, and our boat couldn't land in Halifax. So we ended up in Montreal, and my husband had to get from Halifax to Montreal to be there to meet me when the boat got in. And he was there at the boat in Montreal with a big bunch of flowers. And he was the only one, that had flowers. So when I got off the boat, he was there with the flowers in Montreal. we had quite a lot of air raids, and like I say, we used to go down underneath the house when the air raid sirens went, and just across the street from us a bomb fell, and I knew the people there, and one of my friends and her husband were killed, and their little boy was in bed in a recess in one of the rooms, and he survived because he was in this recess, but his mother and father were killed, in the bombing. That's the only bombing we had anywhere close to where we lived.